Did you notice anything in that in the ready room for the 100?
I didn't really notice anything like that. I just had the mindset in the ready room that like, I don't really care what these guys are thinking. I'm about to win, so it doesn't matter. And that's just kind of what I think.
Welcome to Social Kick. I'm Brian Lundquist. We got a full crew: John Mullen, Luke Paddington, and joining us back from the World Championships, Mr. Brooks Curry. How's it going, man?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing good. Brooks, I feel like you have a name that I feel like would go really well with people that are like, "Hey, Brooksy."
Yeah. Yeah. I do get called that a lot.
You do?
Yeah.
Do you have any other nicknames?
Not really. People just kind of call me whatever, like all the time. That's definitely one of the main ones. So,
well, give us the update, man. What are you up to? First of all, congrats on Worlds and some good swims. What were your takeaways from there, and what are you up to right now?
I thought it was a great meet. Second international meet, first time where I was swimming an individual race and swimming in finals. So first time doing that. So I was really pleased overall. Like with the outcome of the meet, I thought it went just about as good as it could have gone. Definitely always things that you can work on, but I thought it went really well for me being my second international meet,
And in 2 years, you've got your Olympic champion, world champion, NCAA champion, SE champion. Pretty good. Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Pretty good.
Yeah, like you said, a good meet. Obviously, going the best time in the 100 free at semifinals, and then having a nice swim at finals in the individual race for the 100. Like you said, you're pretty happy with it. Any specific aspects of that race that you were particularly pleased with how you swam?
I was just really, really happy with my composure throughout the week because that was like a very stressful time for me, and to be able to come up and come down that many times throughout the meet was that was good for me. I've never swam anything like that. That was that emotionally and physically draining over that week. So I thought I handled it well.
When it comes to the meets, the big long course meets, championship meets, where you've got the mixed relays and the relays are so spread apart, is there anything that you feel like you need to, or that you're starting to think about in training to prepare you for like this longer slog of a meet than say is relevant in the college season?
Yeah, we were definitely planning to swim. I think around 5 times when we were going into Worlds, and then I ended up swimming around 7 times. So we had already prepared for swimming a longer meet, but that's definitely something that we'll be thinking about in the future. Just like getting ready to maybe push out into the 200 and things like that. That'll take over more days and more swims. So definitely thinking about that.
How did you go ahead, John?
I was just going to say, you mentioned the 200. Obviously, you've had, you're great in the 50, 100, and 200. Is the 200 potentially going to be a focus due to the relay implications and things like that?
I don't know. I won't say that it'll be a focus for anything yet. I just would like to swim it, just to see like what I can do, just where it can be put up with like the rest of the field. But if it's good enough, then it'll be a focus. Then if not, then we're just gonna feel it out.
Do you think that means that like training doesn't change, but then you just maybe dabble in racing it and kind of see how it unfolds and what the race results show? Like, because I mean, I ask that because you seem to close really well, and certainly showcase through some long course success, and then almost like long course being the leading edge, and then you're seeing some of the fruits of it on the short course side too. So like, kind of what component does the 200 type training play into your training?
So I mean, I'll do a lot of like 200 pace stuff, and like some threshold sets where we do like hundreds red and 150s red and things like that. But I'm not really sure what the plan looks like for now, if training is going to stay the same or if it's going to push further out. What I would like to do is just to swim the 200 and just to see what happens, and then we can kind of adjust from there. But I'm not really sure what the plan is for that. Haven't really talked down that much, so, like, yet. So we'll see.
I want to talk about the ups and downs you talked about. So you swam a lot of relays, a lot more events than you expected. You anchored the gold medal 4x1, and you were in lane 1 in the final 100 free. So your first international final, you're in lane 1, and then you're anchoring a relay that you touch first on. Describe the feelings on the block before diving in for each. Being outside lane, and then anchoring a relay that was, you guys were just ahead. You held the lead. So talk about your feelings before that.
Before the individual or before the relay?
Both, and the differences. Like, were you more nervous? Were you feel more pressure? Did you feel more excited? Were you like, let's go for this, I'm ready? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you definitely always feel like more excited. I think the relay races are always more fun just because they are. There's definitely like more stress and more anxiety behind the block, like for an individual race, but that just kind of comes with it. The lane didn't really make a difference to me. I was just happy to be in finals, and it's not that the lanes give you any advantage or disadvantage. Any lane in the final is going to be an even shot, like you were saying. Like, dudes touch in lane 1 and lane 8 all meet. So that was cool for me just to be in the final. But I really wasn't like nervous to say. You definitely get like nerves, but I wasn't like nervous freaking out behind the block or anything like that.
I remember at NCAAs when you won, you had such a release of energy when you won that. Was it a 50 when you were really like excited?
I think it was the 100.
Was the 100? Yeah, the 100. You had such a release, and it felt like so much came out winning from your home crowd, and it was your big title. So that's what I was wondering, like, how much are you holding inside of you for those races? You seem to be somebody who keeps it all quiet, but you have a lot inside of you, and you just release it in the water. Yeah,
that's pretty accurate. Yeah, I'd say that.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Brooks, I guess I'm sort of astounded by the background. Can you kind of walk us back through your high school to college transition and the progression from there? Because I mean, I don't know if what I found was entirely accurate, but I mean, it looks like you're a 20.45 guy in high school. And you show up on the NCAA scene at LSU, and a pretty rapid ascension to winning NCAA titles and making the Olympic team, and here you are. So, like, what happened? Did you hit a growth spurt? Did you what man?
I definitely hit a good growth spurt. I mean, coming out of high school, I mean, nothing crazy, like 20.4. If that's what you saw, then I'm sure the 100 wasn't crazy. I think it was like 44 mid or something like that coming out of high school. So, I mean, nothing crazy. And then the training here just really helped a lot. I mean, and especially like end of senior year is like, I started to like kick it into gear for college. It's like, I got to be in shape here and I got to be something fast. And so just taking it real serious at the end of high school, and then like as serious as any freshman can, about with the limited information they have. And then it just kind of spiraled from there, just kind of started doing everything I could in and out of the water. Paid off freshman year and then paid off now. Just, it has been some crazy success though. Like the rapidness has been wild.
But you came from a really reputable club at Dynamo. When did you actually start swimming?
Why did I actually start swimming?
No, when? How old were you?
Oh, when I started swimming dynamo when I was in probably like 2nd or 3rd grade.
Wow. So it's not like somebody who just discovered swimming late and then, the success is rapid, but you had a talent for it. It's like something really clicked as you got into college even. So like was there anything specific? Was it strength training maybe that hadn't been a component in high school? Is it just like a totally different training method and things that happened? I don't know. Is there anything specific you can think of?
I mean, for me, I think it was just the entirely different training thing, and that is nothing against club or anything like that, but it just doesn't compare, when you have like um, the strength training and everything on campus here, and it's the only thing you're doing. It's like you have school and you have friends and you have swimming, and in high school there's a lot more going on, and so you can just focus like a lot more on things that you wouldn't have even known about in high school. So that definitely helps.
For me, I started going to morning practice in college. I was like, I never went to morning practice in high school. So that was a big thing.
Yeah,
But little things like that make a big difference. You're right. You're a lot more focused on the sport and you treat it more as a job versus something you just did as well as homework and as well as everything else. So
right. Yeah. I was definitely the same way in high school. I wasn't going to many Saturday practices or that kind of thing, but
Yeah. So were you, not to call you out, but I can remember a lot of football games Friday nights in high school where I'm going, all right, do I go out tonight or do I, go in because I got morning practice, at 7 on Saturday. And there were a lot of times that, my friend group came out of my swimming, my club team because I didn't really spend all the extra hours with the high school crew going out. So were you kind of the opposite side? Were you kind of maximizing the social community within high school and maybe like less focus on swimming?
as much as I could, but I was still like doing swimming as much as I could. I was kind of like maxed out on both sides, which I don't know would sometimes limit other sides. But I was just kind of doing as much as I could in high school. Swimming was definitely a priority, but I mean nowhere near as a priority as it is like now to say.
And you mentioned obviously getting to LSU in college, and it'd been a whole different environment. Things starting to click more. Do you have a moment, whether it's a practice or a meet, where you're like, "Hey, I'm getting pretty good," or "This is really moving in the right direction now"?
I mean, it was probably just that freshman year SECs where I was like, okay, that's cool. And then just see where we can go from that. Because that was like the biggest meet I had ever gone to and the biggest meet or race I had ever won at that point. And I just remember like my coach saying like the SEC is like the biggest and the baddest, and this competition is nothing like anything you've ever seen. And then with the outcome after that meet, it's like, all right, let's see what we can do.
Was it kind of like a feeling like, okay, I deserve to be here, I deserve to swim with these people, or I can compete against them, right?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm just as good as everybody up here now. So,
Man, do you feel like, did that come as a surprise to your coaches too? Because again, like from the times that you swim in high school to be that good at the SEC level in 1 year.
oh yeah, definitely. Like, definitely.
I mean, so what does that mean then, you think, for LSU on the team side too? Because this is a huge impact for a program, and of course now like some of the big chips are starting to fall too. You got a coaching change, like a lot of experience with Rick coming to lead the program, and then the recent announcement that Maggie's going to come and join too. So I mean, like, how do you think that your success impacts what happens for the program?
I mean, I think it's helping a lot. I mean, Maggie's here. She's swimming with us now. And I mean, I think it's helping a lot. I think it's getting new good recruits in. We're getting a lot of good conversations started. I think we got like a great future coming here. So it'll be good.
She did tell us she's the fastest underwater fly kicker in the world. So I want you to
she told
test
you
that
that.
out, okay?
She told you that. I
Yeah.
haven't seen it yet in person. So
Challenge her. I want to see it. Because Tom
yeah,
Shields also said that as well. So I want a Tom Shields,
yeah.
Maggie McNeil showdown. That's what I want.
Tom said that Maggie had the
No, Tom
best.
said that he himself was the fastest underwater kicker in the world.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
So obviously at LSU, you're the fastest swimmer on the team, especially sprinter. Obviously, when you are the fastest on a team and you're starting to become an upperclassman on the team, or you're going to be a senior, people start looking at you and have expectations for you. What type of demeanor and things do you bring to practice, maybe now versus when you were a freshman coming on the scene?
I guess I was a pretty, I guess you could say, small guy freshman year on the pool deck, but now I just kind of bring like the energy I got, like swimming fast. I mean, I'm real easy to work with and like swim with, so I'm not gonna fight you during practice or anything like that. So if we can run practice smooth, then I'm gonna have a good time, like. I'm really easygoing, and I don't know. I just like swimming fast the most in practice. So bringing that energy is always good.
Give us an example. What's your ideal set where there's like a good blend of this is stuff that I like to do, but it's also hard, and I know that it's going to benefit me the most. What comes to mind when I say that?
I mean, I could just make a setup like off the top of my head, just with everything I've done with Rick so far. I mean, I would say probably like something I would really like to do would be like suited 25s from a dive. And then like suited 50s, of course. And then probably like a bunch of push 50s, push 25s. And then probably like, I don't know, if I was going out to the 200 or something, then a couple hundreds red or blue or something like that. Just kind of throwing all that in there, and that'd be like a really good set, but a really hard set.
So like a lot of high end lactate.
Yeah, a lot of high end, and split that up with like either a lot of rest or shorter rest. Like so, the 25s could be like a lot of rest, and then some push 50s could be like moderate rest, and then like the hundreds could be, I don't know, short rest. That sounds like it'd be a really hard set if I was going to do that, but
Yeah,
it'd be good. It'd be good, yeah.
Luke's about to vomit over there just hearing about this.
You keep adding.
Oh, Brian, I didn't tell you this. I think Luke's officially a fin master swimmer now. Now that we're swimming, he's wearing fins the whole workout. Oh, yeah. What's that? You're scratching your eye, I see.
Dude, so you mentioned suited too. Just suited in practice play a big component for you? Do you like doing it?
Yeah, those are fun. Those are always good. Just to get some like, I don't know, every time I throw a suit on, I like throwing some pre-workout in there too. Just like getting amped up for. It's always fun to put a suit on.
Is it a regular component? You guys do it a lot?
We don't do it that much, but if we were going to do it, it'd probably be like a Tuesday or Saturday or something, where it's like short speed day.
Huh. So, what do you think then that what do you think that is your biggest strength? And what do you think you need to improve on the most?
I think one of my biggest strengths. I think my biggest strength is like my opening speed, but my closing speed is also really good too. So something like I realized though, watching my races at Worlds, it's like I've been training for like this new kind of tempo, I guess you could say. It's just like a new way to swim the 100 free. And watching those videos, I didn't do a great job at doing that. So that's definitely my main thing I'm going to go back and work on now. But once I get that down, I think that's going to be good strength.
What does that mean? New kind of tempo?
Just kind of just a new way to swim the 100 that's not kind of gallopy, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay. So does that have to do with your stroke rate, or actually what your body position is doing in the water?
Both.
Okay. What have you been doing, and like how are there something that you're thinking about, like trying to speed it up and level it out?
Trying to speed it up, not necessarily level it out, but if you can, like, if you watch those videos, you can see my tempos like 1 2 1 2 1 2, and I was trying in the race, I was trying to keep it like 1 2 3 4, something like that. But and it felt like that in the race, but watching it, it didn't look like that. So there's something for me to work on.
And what's leading to this shift? Is that something that Rick brought and you guys have been working on, or something you and USA Swimming have been working on together?
Kind of all around. It's an idea that I had like a little while ago, and it's been hard for me to put it together, as you can see. But I think it'll definitely work out good.
You feel like you're the kind of guy who responds best to like plans that are individualized for you, and like it sounds like this idea came from you. You've been thinking about doing it. Do you learn things from looking at other people, or do you feel like your best approach is just to like, come up with your own ideas that fit your body and your skill set?
So that's kind of what I do. Yeah, I like look at other people and watch videos and study whatever, and then kind of take everything that I can do and apply it to my technique or race or anything like that, like, and try to improve on it in the way that works better for me.
Who are some of the biggest influences on you in that regard?
I mean, I've been compared a lot to like Rob Howard, the way I kind of swim on top of the water. And so I've watched like a bunch of his videos. Caleb always.
You talk to Jonty at all then?
No, I did not.
I'm always curious about that. I forget what they call it, that style of freestyle that's on top of the water. And that's funny you mention it, because that does come to mind, and I agree. That's what you look like when you're swimming. But I could never figure that out myself. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of feedback.
No, like you said, watching other people implementing to yourself here. I'm really curious with this process, because I think a lot of athletes are always looking for their coach, always asking their coach, what can I do? What can I do? But like you said, you're kind of analyzing, maybe coming up with new ideas. Then do you bring it up with the team and the coaches and get their input on things? Or tell me more about that process of how you go about this.
Yeah. So, I mean, if Rick comes to me for an idea or something, we can sit down and talk about it. Or if I come to him with an idea, I'll tell him, like, what does this sound like, or how does this sound? Does it sound like viable? Does it sound something that even makes sense? And we'll just talk from there, and then we'll try and implement it into practice and try and rehearse it just as much as we can.
Have either of you guys ever had any ideas where it's like, let's give it a try, and it's like, oh man, this is let's scrap that immediately.
We need to breathe more.
Yeah. The first thing I can think of with that, we were doing some drill, and it was like we had some kind of these gloves on, and they're heavy. They're really heavy. It might have just been like a big sock or something like that. And we were supposed to do like real high tempo freestyle with it. And you would be like dragging like 30 pounds of water like above your head or something, like, and it just did not work at all. That was something that was just scrapped.
That's fun though. It sounds like a great relationship, just being able to experiment, play in the water a little, and see what you can discover.
Yeah.
Brooks, what's the long game with you? You know, you seem to be on this like rapid ascension, right? And you seem to be having a lot of fun with it, and somewhat, in a way, surprised by it too yourself. Do you have plans on long term in the sport? Are you just kind of enjoying each moment and season as they come? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely got long-term plans for the sport. I'd love to do ISL and that stuff. Hopefully it sticks around, or hopefully something takes its place that it's like just like it, because I've heard it's like the most fun thing like ever. And so I'd love to do that. I'd love to train through LA, swim through LA. So that'd be like probably the preliminary plan as of right now.
Do you think that you would be good at the skins?
I do think so, yeah. So like we do those a lot. Like we'll do like a bunch of dive 50s, or I mean pace 50s long course too. Like we do a lot of that stuff. So I think I'd be really good at it.
Do you think that the ISL is going to happen again, or what's the?
I don't know. I don't know. I've heard so many things, and I just have no idea.
Do you feel like maybe the U.S. national team is kind of in a similar boat of people with sort of mixed confidence?
I mean, I know like a lot of people want to do it. Everybody that's still swimming good, like really wants to do it. And I hope something takes its place if it does go away.
What do you think? What do you think we need to do? So we were talking about this the other day. Like it seems to have prolonged the careers of a lot of people, filling this gap in the fall where there didn't used to be anything going on. So everybody finishes the long course season. They're like, okay, so I guess I'll retire now because I'm not going to train for another year. But with ISL in the fall, there's this carrot to, well, it's just a few more months. Like, yeah, I'll take a week off and then get back into training. And then here we are with like, not only the financial opportunity, but it's fun. And then, then people end up swimming for a couple more years because there's more stuff going on. So
right. Yeah.
If it's not the ISL, like what would you do?
You see, that's what I don't even know about. I don't know if like all the national teams could just like do something or make something like aside from FINA. I don't know what FINA like their restrictions are on anything, but I mean, I honestly don't know. I would love for like a league to come up and be probably better managed, but I'd love to see something happen.
There are rumors in Australia were the origins of the skins meets. You know that back like 20 years ago, they used to have skins meets. Like go submit 200 IM, you go up the block and you choose the order of the events as you're about to dive in of the 200 IM, like that. Like they were the original, like have fun and race fast.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
I don't know that I'm a fan of the, don't know what you're swimming until you actually go up and do it. But yeah, and I don't think the ISL's fully nailed it too in terms of obviously what the spectator situation is. So I think it's like, they're doing a lot. I'm not hating on it, but I just think, we've learned some from that environment. And we'll take from it is like, okay, it's great to have an opportunity for swimmers to prolong their careers. It's awesome to have lots of racing. It's cool to think about swimming in a different format where, you've got a team environment, men and women are equal and both contributing. We're mixing that and it's fast. But at the same time, like the schedule's a little sporadic. Where is it all the time? Is it all like one summit, or is it sparse out over multiple seasons? Is dual meet or quad meet the right format? Like, I don't know. So I think there's still more that we can do. And like, do we have to do all the same distances that we always do? Or are there other ways to like, I don't know, do other sort of like silly competitions that would help make it more fun? It's so far, I don't think it's really drawing in the average fan the way that we want it to. The people who love swimming, like, every pro swimmer or, college swimmer who thinks about doing it, everybody's stoked on it. So it's like people in the swimming community love it. But people outside of the swimming community have no idea what it is.
It's just got to be on TV and it's got to be free. Like you can't pay for it. You know? Like it's got to be shown to as many people as you can, and then it'll just grow from that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I think and we've talked about this before. It's still like, and Brian, I think you're hinting at it. Like, what's their target? Is it the general fan? Where I couldn't agree more with what Brooks is saying. Just access is huge, right? Just having exposures and things like that. Or do they just want to go for the swim nerds and all that, which can be fine too. I think there's enough people worldwide in the swimming community to make something that's profitable. Maybe not to the vision that they were maybe hoping for. But I think trying to figure out really what their target audience is and going for that. But I think the good thing that we keep hearing is athletes love it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brooks,
Yeah,
I have a
I've heard
feeling,
everybody loves it.
I get a sense that you are a showtime swimmer in terms of you, when a moment comes and it matters, that's when you deliver. I got that sense when I saw you before the blocks of the 53 final NCs. Beyond it has gone 18-2. You're in your hometown, you're the 100-free champion. Nobody's talking about you. They're all talking about Beyond. And you showed up, you delivered. And I have a feeling you're that kind of swimmer. And I think you can be lifted by that. But also I have a feel if you and Beyond had a showdown in a backyard pool, you would still gone 18-5 and beat him. You know what I mean? Like, I think you don't need it, but you like it. What describe
Oh
that?
yeah, yeah. I love the pressure. I love like the noise and being able to race in that like crazy environment. And in those races, it's like it's a roll of the dice. Who is going to get their hand on the ball first? There's like nothing that you can do or control that's just going to change it. Like you got to swim your best race and touch the wall first, and it's going to be a gamble who gets their hand on the wall first. You know.
Are you somebody who likes to read the other guys in the ready room? Can you get a sense of, their nerves and how they're feeling? Are you calm? Are you like spitting in their lane before? How does that?
No, no, I'm not doing any of that. But I do like to read the guys and see like what they're doing, because just being at like or having been to international meets, you can just kind of look and see like how other people are handling the situation that they got. Like NCs is I mean, it's nothing compared to like just a Worlds, for example, but just being in the ready room and having like that international experience behind me, and just being next to the dudes that have not gotten international experience, just kind of funny, or it's just interesting to see like what they do before their race.
Hey, Popovich was telling Brett that in the 200 ready room, he was kind of sitting and everybody else was upstanding, and he was taking that moment to kind of be the alpha in a way, is what it sounded like, where, he was just observing everybody else and felt like there was a fear of what he was going to do. Did you notice anything of that in the ready room for the 100?
I didn't really notice anything like that. I just had the mindset in the ready room that like, I don't really care what these guys are thinking. I'm about to win, so it doesn't matter. And that's just kind of what I think.
What's that smoke?
Yeah. Man, that mind control matters a lot.
It does. Yeah, it really does.
Is there anything like, does that come naturally to you, or has that been a focus to kind of figure that out through maybe some outside help?
I mean, I would say that just came like a lot from being in Tokyo, being able to like, I mean, that Tokyo had a lot of unexpected pressure and stress that I didn't really know about until I was there, and since that was just like the first experience of that, and I haven't really had like that before like a race, haven't had that moment since, and so that really hasn't been a problem for me. But I
Do you
don't know.
think was that in your mind, before prelims of the relay in Tokyo?
Like, I mean, it was definitely like I don't know, it's hard to describe, because I mean, it's hard to describe. you don't think that you're feeling any pressure until you do, and then you're like, oh, I guess I was feeling it the whole time, and you just didn't know.
Huh.
At
So
what point did you know you were in the Olympics and you were swimming Olympics and you got to get to the wall? I've heard stories about like
Yeah.
halfway through the 200 free, like, oh shit, I got to get going. I'm in the Olympics. Like you forget the moment catches up to you.
That's kind of what I was trying to say. That happened like as I stood on the block.
Like, oh shit, I gotta go. Yeah.
Yeah.
and you think for you that's a like a good thing to realize the gravity of the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, that race didn't go how I wanted it to, but whatever, learning experience.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My brother had been to many world championships, but the Olympics in Sydney, he says halfway through, that's when he stopped finding still being overwhelmed. Even though he had like 4 worlds under his belt, there was nothing like the Olympic place to swim at. So, and he wished he had gone back to do it again. So Paris, you know. Yeah.
It's definitely overwhelming, that's for sure.
Brooks, you like long course better than short course?
I like racing long course better than short course.
Why is that?
There's just way less points for error. Like there's just less things that you have to do. And I think it's easier to race. Like short course, you have turns, underwaters, and breakouts is double like the amount of any long course race, just automatically. And the less points for error, than the cleaner race you can have.
You prefer the 100 over the 50 then?
I like the 50. I like the 50 when it goes well, but I like the 100. Yeah, the 50 is really hard.
Yeah, it's over all the errors that you can make, and you can't do one. You can't make one mistake.
Right.
So,
You can't make one. Yeah.
Yeah.
How you guys are really close to getting that 400 free world record, and it seems like we've got a ton of guys. If you put the combos together, we're under that world record. It's just a matter of getting all of the swims that everybody on the U.S. team has done in the same race to knock them down. Did you think that it was going to come at Worlds? Is that something that you guys talked about as a team?
That wasn't something I was going to put any pressure on myself for. If it happened, then it happened. If it didn't, then we'll get it next time, you know? But that was not even in my head. If it came, then great. But if it didn't, then no worries.
Okay.
'Cause my focus was just to do my part, you know, and swim like my best 100 free, and then worry about that later.
What's the camaraderie like? I mean, you're 2 summers in a row now, being on, you know, the finals, or being on the relay, and you know, now I think with that comes some seniority. Of course, you've got, you know, some other guys, Caleb, of course, and then Zappel not there this summer, but there last year with a huge split, and you know, held always around. Like what's the vibe like amongst the sprinters in the U.S. and how do you guys sort of coalesce as a group in preparation for, you know, sort of defending a title that's you know, really sets the tone of the meet and is really key to, I think, USA Swimming's success over the years?
I mean, it was great. Caleb was my training partner in Croatia and Budapest, kind of. So that was really cool swimming with him. I mean, all the guys are great. Ryan's sick, love him. Justin, super cool guy. Like all the guys are great. So no problems there. It was a pleasure swimming with all those guys.
What do you think clicked for the whole team? I mean, I know that we've had people mention, I think Carson mentioned to us that, like, you know, the team captains made it a point of emphasis to call out, you know, the medal count and continuing to run it up. And that was giving the team a lot of good vibes throughout the week at Worlds. Like, was there anything that you saw amongst Team USA that was just, you know, indicative of the success that the team was having throughout the week, that, like, you know, you just, like, there were good vibes going in, that there was the right chemistry of the team, or everybody looked sharp in the water, or, you know, USA has some kind of special Kool-Aid? Like, what was it?
I mean, it was all that. Like, the training atmosphere was so good and so positive in Croatia that we all were just like getting along, and I mean, we were all just working great together. And then just coming around in Budapest, everybody was nice on deck. Nobody was getting upset or whatever about their races, and everybody was like fist bumping, high fiving. So that was really cool. It was just like a great atmosphere that we had, and we worked like really well together this summer.
Awesome.
I want to talk about LSU now, and you being a senior, and what's it like being on campus. So when I was growing up and swimming as an age group in the 80s, I idolized a LSU swimmer. He was NCAA champion, 50 free. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, and his name is Mark Andrews. And he won NCs in 1905 and like in the mid 80s, and he was this insane sprinter. You probably know his name, right? From LSU. And there's another swimmer from Trinidad who went to LSU as well, a bit later on, Jabuku. So LSU to me was like a sprint program known in the 80s, and there was studs. But, you know, no Americans made the Olympic team for LSU. And there you come along, you know, when you make it, then you win it. And it goes back to what Brian is saying, how does this change the program? But how has it changed you? Like, you're no longer under the radar. Are you now known on campus? And do you feel any pressure at all? Or maybe it's a responsibility, and you've picked up that responsibility to keep growing this program? Rick?
I would say I'm more known on campus, like through the athletes. I wouldn't say like any just regular students. I mean, maybe that's just because I haven't met the people that do. But I think swimming is like not super big on campus here. Just isn't. That's fine. But I mean, I don't know. It's cool.
It's, you know, Baton Rouge is not very big. They got great crawfish. I love it, but it's not very big. But yeah, I imagine it's exciting times at LSU, I think.
Yeah.
Who do you train with? Who's the person who pushes you in practice? Name some of your teammates that we know.
So, I mean, right now in the sprint group, we have Maggie. We got Noah Cumby. We got Jack Janash. I'm trying to think of the other sprint guys. We just had a little meet, so we might have some dudes come down to sprint and push out of sprint. So it's all being mixed up right now, but the sprint group is pretty small, like 4 dudes or 5 dudes.
Do you need more? Do you need less? You're happy where you're at? Like, do you need somebody next to you to whoop you in practice? Or you?
I mean, I'll happily. I'll always take someone next to me. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why these guys have me in practice, so I can take them out.
That's why he always puts on fins. So that
the fins, you're definitely almost beat us.
Yeah, whatever, dude. All right, Brooks. Well, we got a few rapid fire questions for you before you go. What's the hardest race in swimming?
200 back.
You've never swum a 200 backstroke, have you?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Would you rather have an Olympic gold medal or a world record?
World record, maybe.
Easy to say when you've already got one.
Yeah.
Do you pee in the pool?
Depends.
On what?
Oh my God.
No, it's not constant.
Sometimes goes in the gutter.
What's the longest distance you've swum with no breath?
With no breath? Maybe a 75.
We've seen a lot of consolidation happening in conferences, and amongst the SEC and the Big Ten now. In 2030, how many teams do you think there would be in the SEC?
Oh God, I don't know. I don't even know. When's Texas coming? It's like 2025, right?
Yeah, Texas and Oklahoma. I think it's 2025, and then that's so crazy. That's gonna be a weird adjustment at SECs when Texas is there.
Definitely a good thing I'm going to be out of here.
Whatever, man. You still win.
Yeah.
Hey, so you did pretty well in that 75 virtual sprint challenge. First knocking off Dean Ferris, but then there was kind of got the wheel rolling. You want to get that rolling back again? And if you did, what challenge would you throw out there to start a viral online sensation?
What challenge would I throw? I would probably try and do just a 25 just from the dive, like from the start. Who's got the fastest 25?
Fastest.
Why don't we have this in meets? It's, track has 100 meters. It's a 9-second race.
Right.
Let's do it.
We should.
No mistakes. Off the bulkhead. Go.
Yeah, really. We should do something that's the same distance as the 100 meter or same time as the 100 meters.
We had a meet in Canada that we swam the 25. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun.
I swam 25s last night. It was great. So, you mentioned swimming not being like that well known on campus, but football is, of course. So, at LSU in particular, known for the game day experience. How come people don't tailgate for swim meets?
It's funny because actually, like, a lot of people tailgate for like tack meets, if like the club meets. It depends. Like if it's if there's like something going on, then there will be like plenty of people set up. But I mean, normally we won't tailgate for it just because. I mean, it'll either be early in the morning or finals at night. But we've had some parents like cook some food up for after the meet. So I mean, I guess you could say that was like tailgating a little bit. They got like the what do they call it? Just the big giant pots where they're cooking up the jambalaya and things like that.
Dude. Yeah. When you retire, are you gonna start the tailgating trend outside the LSU meets?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, this was a random one. What do you think the odds are, 0 to 100% of us ever getting you, Steph Curry, together in a photo eating curry?
Ooh. What are the odds of that? I'm gonna say like 15%. Huh?
You could be in Paris. Steph could be in an Olympic team, and
there you go. Yeah.
Closing ceremony.
We can see it right now. Something's cooking with Team USA.
Let's make it happen.
All right. We have to ask this one. How often in practice do you do social kick?
Every single day.
Beautiful. Us too. Except Luke does it with fins because he's cheating.
Yeah.
On that note, Brooks, man, thanks for hanging out with us. We look forward to watching you as you come into this next season, and hope that rapid succession keeps on going, man. Thanks for hanging out.
No problem. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. I had a great time.
Awesome.
Well, that's it for this episode of Social Kick, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you're enjoying Social Kick, tell your friends about it, and be sure to tell us what you liked by leaving a comment, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Social Kick, and you can find all of our content on our website,